What I'm telling you will blow the doors off of any of your techniques you've been trying to achieve for word count. And I've tried them all. What I'm telling you will take you from, like me, who was absolutely slow at word count, sometimes 500 or 1,000 words in 3 hours for a blog post. Now that's full rough draft and the edit. So if we say just a rough draft, let's say 1,000 words in an hour. To 2,000 words in 20 minutes. Insane word count. This information is so top secret that I have sworn the members of my household who know my technique to secrecy. It is why there is such a steep price tag on this book. And I have learned this information at different times throughout my professional career. But the idea of it is so out of my realm that I didn't adopt it until absolutely necessary. To win NaNoWriMo, November 2020. I learned about this in grad school with a certain software that did this. I worked with the software and I didn't really like it. And so this idea left my head. I learned about it again from another author. But again, it was using the same software that I didn't like. It was also expensive software. Plus, I didn't appreciate the idea that it would change my writing, this method. But this method is so simple. So outrageously simple that you might even learn this information and also discount it. The key? Question mark. Is voice transcription. If you're like me, you've studied word counts because my word count is especially slow. There's the Stephen King method where you add in onomatopoeia words like boing, blonk, clonk. Really? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pepper my writing with percussive sound effects, basically. Or another Stephen King method padding word count is repetition of a phrase over and over throughout the book. It is how many words in total? And the repetition of the sentence, blah, blah, blah. There's also increasing the word count by, oh, wait for it, not getting interrupted by other tasks like checking your social media. There are all sorts of software and apps set up to stop you from checking your Facebook. But guess what? For all the amount of time you put into installing these softwares, you've already figured out the workaround, i.e., your phone right beside you, or you pull out your tablet that's in the drawer beneath, and yes, it stops you from checking to making a Spotify playlist. But come on, this won't increase your word count in any conceivable way. All it does is stop your distractions. And the Stephen King method, minimal improvement in word count. I mean, you could be like the high school student whose method I researched of writing in small print at the end of your paper, not adding any content whatsoever, but writing in small print at the end of your paper and then turning it white. Which is very clever. I wish I'd known that in high school. But I would not have been the writer I am today. Voice transcription is the key. It will take you from slogging through for literally hours to get the word counts you can get in 10, 20 minutes. It's that simple. And all the time I took elaborating ineffective methods of word count that are minimal at best, and elaborating why I think you should try voice transcription and arguing with your arguments against it. The key is just this: transcribe your voice. Now, I learned about this in grad school when they were pushing the software Dragon. It's like $300. I was a grad student. Absolutely not. I'm not doing anything like that. I learned about it again, and they were again pushing Snapdragon or whatever it's called. I didn't like this because, for one, you had to train your voice with it, and the amount of time I was allowed to use it as a grad student when we were trading it off or I had other projects, I found it ineffective. Too many mistakes. I also didn't like the idea of changing the essence of how I was writing the pen and the paper, or even typing. There is a different flow than the speaking voice. It's the written word versus the speaking voice being captured. And I didn't like the idea of changing my inherent essence of my writing. I also saw, appropriately and aptly, that it would involve a huge and massive amount of editing. But being that I couldn't write a rough draft without an edit, absolutely could not. Who knows what my editing process is? It's wrapped up in the rough draft.